Good morning, everybody. Somebody's mic is falling here. Thank you for coming. I apologize for Good morning, everybody. Somebody's mic is falling here. Thank you for coming. I apologize for not being able to do this last night. The quicker I'd like to get this thing settled as quickly as I can. Let me tell you a couple things. First of all, apparently there's going to be a vote on the ABM treaty at 9:30 or thereabouts, and then I'm going to begin the Bork hearings at 10 o'clock. And I'm here for two reasons. One, to set the record straight, and two, to get on with my business as chair of the Judiciary Committee. Several matters have been raised with regard to my presidential campaign and the conduct of it, and about my freshman year in law school 23 years ago. And I want to answer all your questions about those matters to the best of my ability. I hope, if we haven't, my staff has for you my entire transcript from law school, from undergraduate school, everything that you would ever want to know about what a brilliant student I was in undergraduate school and graduate school. And the only bad part about all this is my sons are going to find out I didn't do as well as they thought I did. Let me start off and speak to, very briefly, I have no prepared statement, but very briefly to the three matters that have been brought to my attention and I should elaborate on for you. The first is the matter of whether or not in a California speech a year and a half ago, or whenever it was, a year ago, that I quoted Robert Kennedy without attributing it to Robert Kennedy. The fact of the matter is that most of you know, or many of you know, I write my own speeches. This speech I did not write. I honestly thought the paragraph that was referred to as was a piece of brilliant work by my staff, just as the lines that they have come up with, I would say the more original lines in any campaign of just the broken hearts line and others when they, and the quote related to, if I'm not mistaken, I later learned it was a quote related to that all these things do not measure the sanctity of our marriages, etc. I did not know that was a Robert Kennedy quote. My mistake. I'm a great fan of Robert Kennedy's. I should have known it was Robert Kennedy's quote. I did not know that. But it's nonetheless my mistake, number one. Number two, it's been raised that by my opposition that I have used I have paraphrased Neil Kinnock. And it is true I have, and I will continue to, because the sentiment he expresses is a sentiment that, in fact, I think best expresses what's at stake here about building a platform for people. I made no mistake, in my view, in using the Kinnock quote, and on all but one occasion, to the best of my knowledge, I attribute it directly to Kinnock, or I even went and told a whole story about Kinnock, about how I had this tape, etc., and so on and so forth. At the Iowa debate, at the end of the debate, I did not do what I did at the Florida J.J. dinner the week before there, or whenever it was nearby, or last week at the Jefferson-Jackson Day dinner in Pennsylvania. I did not say, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock. I should have, but I was talking about me in there, and I was applying the same exact thing Kinnock said about himself to me, which applied as I said it. Now, there is one thing that I did not, that I think was a matter of my extra exuberance. And I have been making speeches on foreign policy because, quite frankly, I think I'm the most qualified person in the Democratic Party to speak to that issue. And as a part of that process, in the stump speech I've been making, I talk about how I have traveled around the world, which I have, and I have met the leaders from Deng Xiaoping to Sadat, who's obviously passed away, to Helmut Schmidt, who's no longer there, to Margaret Thatcher, who's still a leader. And in the context of one of my speeches, I then went into a comment about And I said, and then we must build a platform. And I implied clearly, from what I'm told on the tape, I clearly implied, if not said, that a man who is an acquaintance of mine, who I've known for years, Dennis Healy, who's on the tape, sent me the tape. Dennis Healy did not send me the tape. The tape was given to me and apparently several other presidential candidates by someone who had just been to England covering the English elections. I did not. That was totally inadvertent. Dennis Healy, I do consider a good acquaintance. Dennis Healy, I have great respect for. But Dennis Healy did not send me the tape. What I had been saying in all of it, I said, and I assume one of the reasons why this is so pertinent to me is because Dennis Healy is in this tape, and he talks about Kinnock as being in the tape, if you've seen it, the tape I'm referring to, but you all know what I'm talking about? The tape I'm referring to is a 10-minute advertisement done by the Labor Party at the end of the last election. That's the tape I'm referring to. 10-minute, made by apparently the gentleman who did Chariots of Fire was the person who produced it. And quite frankly, I think you'll all be the judge and the people be the judge. I think there's much ado about nothing. I noticed that when I stand up, I watched two of my presidential contenders stand there and say,